Last month's Old Firm derby at Celtic Park might have ended on the pitch, but the drama has spilled far beyond the 90 minutes, and it's fair to say we're still feeling the aftershocks. Rangers under Barry Ferguson pulled off an incredible late win over their biggest rivals thanks to a dramatic strike from Hamza Eigerman sealing a vital 3-2 result that shook the title race and sent the away end into absolute chaos. But as fans celebrated, players jumped into each other's arms and emotions ran high. There was one particular moment that lit a firestorm of controversy, one that's dominated headlines ever since and had Rangers supporters, Celtic fans, pundits, and officials all weighing in. We're talking, of course, about the now infamous moment when Vaclav Cerny, on loan at Rangers, was seen spraying water towards a section of Celtic supporters during the post-match celebrations. The images were quickly shared across social media, and let's just say the reaction was explosive. The Celtic fans were furious, branding the act as disrespectful and inflammatory, especially given the high intentions that always come with these derbies. For some, it was seen as a deliberate provocation. For others, a heat of Thermament reaction in the middle of the madness. Either way, the backlash was immediate, and questions started flying about whether the winger would face disciplinary action. Not just from the footballing authorities, but from the police as well. Now, fast forward to today, and we've finally got a major update on the whole situation. Police Scotland, who had launched an investigation following complaints filed after the match, have now confirmed that no further action will be taken against Cerny. That's right, case closed. In a statement, the police said they had received information, carried out inquiries, and determined that no criminality had been established. Officers had reportedly engaged with the club, issued advice, and that was that. No charges, no formal warning, no consequences. For Rangers, that's a sigh of relief. For Cerny, it means he can now focus fully on his football without this saga hanging over his head. But for Celtic fans, it's a bitter pill to swallow. This whole situation has highlighted once again how volatile these Old Firm clashes can be. Not just on the pitch, but in the stands, in the media, and now even in the hands of law enforcement. And while emotions always run high in Glasgow derbies, this was a reminder that every action, even something as seemingly harmless as a water spray, can be magnified 100 times when you're wearing a Rangers or Celtic shirt in a derby setting. It also raises wider questions about how players conduct themselves in the aftermath of such emotionally charged matches, and where the line is between celebrating with your fans and provoking the opposition. But stepping back from that for a second, let's talk about what that win actually meant for Barry Ferguson and his side. Because it wasn't just 3 points, it felt like a turning point. Since Ferguson took over, there's been a clear shift, not only in the team's performances, but in the general mood around the club. Former Rangers striker Nacho Novo recently spoke out about just how drastic the changes have been behind the scenes, and he didn't hold back when describing life. Under previous boss Philippe Clement, according to Novo, things under Clement were like prison. And that's not his word alone. He claims to have spoken with people close to the squad who told him the atmosphere was rigid, joyless, and at times downright suffocating. Players apparently weren't even allowed proper training games. No five-a-sides, no tackling. 3-hour sessions with little to no room for creativity or expression. And worst of all, no days off. Imagine going through a full week of training like that, then being expected to turn up sharp, fresh, and full of life at the weekend. For Novo, that just didn't make sense. And clearly it wasn't working on the pitch either. But since Ferguson's taken over, it's been a breath of fresh air. The training ground's no longer a prison, and the players are finally allowed to enjoy their football again. He's brought structure, yes, but he's also brought balance. Players have been given time off, including a full week during the international break to spend with their families. That kind of gesture might seem small from the outside, but inside a dressing room it makes a massive difference. It shows trust, it shows humanity, and above all, it shows that Ferguson understands what it means to be a footballer at this level. Novo's backing Ferguson, completely calling on the club to give him a full year in charge. He's got Neil McCann and Billy Dodds beside him. 2 experienced coaches who've been in the hot seat before and understand what this club needs. Between them, they've got years of knowledge, and more importantly, they've got the respect of the squad. And you can see that respect translating into performances. The team looks sharper, more confident, and for the first time in a long while, there's a real sense of belief again. Now, if you zoom out from the Cerny controversy and the changes on the training ground, there's another massive story developing off the pitch that could reshape Rangers from top to bottom: the American takeover. We're talking about 49ers. Enterprise is the sports investment arm behind the NFL's San Francisco 49ers, who've been slowly moving towards a full acquisition of the club. And at the center of this movement is Grettir Steinson, a former Iceland international who's been flying between the US, England, and Glasgow as the deal edges closer to completion. Steinson's role is a fascinating one. He's not a financier, but rather a football man through and through. After retiring early due to injury, he shifted straight into off-field roles, building a strong reputation through spells at Fleetwood Town, Everton, Tottenham, and most recently Leeds United. He's a big picture thinker, someone who studies football management, understands club operations beyond coaching, and has a deep grasp of how modern clubs are run. The guy even trained under Louis van Gaal at the Johan Cruyff Institute in the Netherlands. You don't do that unless you're serious. Right now, he's expected to be a key figure in shaping the future of Rangers once the takeover is official. While he won't be taking on a traditional sporting director role at Ibrox, make no mistake, his influence will be massive. Alongside investor Andrew Kavar, who's also a lifelong football man with a background in goalkeeping, Steinson has already been referring to Rangers as "we" in private conversations. That kind of language says a lot. They've been touring the training ground, meeting staff, and getting to grips with the inner workings of the club. Even if officially nothing's been signed off just yet, the structure they want to put in place appears more modern, more dynamic. During his time at Leeds, especially after the 49ers took full control, Steinson helped shift away from a centralized transfer system towards a more collaborative model. That meant more voices in the room, more flexibility, and ultimately a better pathway for player development. If that's the kind of vision they're bringing to Rangers, it could mark a huge change from the past few years where things have felt, at times, stuck in transition. And let's be honest, Rangers have needed clarity at the top for a while now. The sporting director role has been a revolving door with responsibilities sometimes unclear and power too concentrated or too diluted depending on who was in charge. Steinson brings a reputation for being straight-talking, decisive, and forward-thinking. That's exactly the kind of leadership the club's been crying out for. With the police investigation now behind him, Cerny can put the water bottle down and focus on helping Rangers chase silverware. With Ferguson getting the best out of his squad and the American takeover inching closer by the day, there's a real sense that something is building at Ibrox. The noise around the club is growing louder, but this time it feels like it might just be the sound of momentum. What's becoming clearer by the day is that Rangers aren't just tweaking a few things here and there. They're gearing up for a transformation. The arrival of the 49ers enterprises, led by American investors with a proper football vision, signals that the days of short-term patches might finally be over. And at the center of it all, Grettir Steinson is positioning himself as a football architect, someone who isn't just passing through but looking to build something sustainable. His background makes him the perfect bridge between traditional football culture and modern club operations. This is a guy who didn't just fall into executive roles. He planned for it, studied for it, and earned his place by understanding how clubs work from top to bottom. At Fleetwood Town, he became their first ever technical director, shaping their entire football structure. Then came stints at Everton, where he assisted Marcel Brands, and Tottenham, where he took on the performance director role under Fabio Paratici. He's not just someone who knows how to spot talent, he knows how to build the environment around that talent so it thrives. And that's what Rangers need right now. For too long, the club's been caught between eras, caught between old school mentality and modern football demands. Whether it's been issues with recruitment, academy pathways, or sporting structure, there's always been this lingering sense that Rangers are playing catch-up behind the scenes while trying to stay competitive. On the pitch, that disconnect has shown itself in transfer windows that lacked cohesion or in promising youth players slipping through the cracks due to unclear progression routes. That's exactly the kind of thing Steinson is here to fix. He won't be the one signing players directly or picking the team, but he'll be shaping the entire football ecosystem at Ibrox, from scouting strategies to player development to long-term squad planning. Under his guidance, Rangers could finally move towards a model where every signing fits a clear football identity. Every young talent has a defined path, and every decision is part of a bigger vision. One major clue to how this might play out is what happened at Leeds United when the 49ers took full control of the club in 2023 after relegation from the Premier League. They didn't just throw money at the problem. They restructured. They brought in people like Nick Hammond and Jordan Miles to lead recruitment while allowing Steinson to oversee broader football operations. It was a collective approach built on trust, expertise, and modern thinking. And now with Andrew Kavar, another passionate football mind, working closely with Steinson, that same structure could be coming to Glasgow. Sources close to the deal have said that while neither Kavar nor Steinson are big on public statements, their presence is being felt more and more around Rangers. They've been attending matches, holding private meetings, and slowly embedding themselves into the club's culture. The fact they're already referring to Rangers as "we" tells you everything you need to know. They're not just investors looking for a return. They're here to be involved, to build something, and to win. What's more, their approach isn't loud or flashy. It's calculated, considered, and rooted in football knowledge. As one source put it, the 49ers discuss business when business is done, and Steinson is very much cut from the same cloth. He's not interested in being the face of the takeover. He wants to be the engine behind it. For Rangers fans, this should be cause for cautious optimism. After years of instability and false dawns, the pieces might finally be falling into place. With Barry Ferguson providing strong leadership on the pitch and figures like Steinson and Kavar setting the foundation of it, there's a chance to rebuild Rangers not just into a team that wins occasionally, but into a club that competes consistently at home and abroad. But none of this will happen overnight. This is a process. There'll be bumps, setbacks, and tough decisions. Not every transfer will work. Not every plan will play out perfectly, but the difference now is that there is a plan, a structure, a vision, and that alone is more than the club has had in a long time. As we head into the final stretch of the season, all eyes will be on how Rangers finish the campaign under Ferguson, but the real story might be unfolding behind the scenes, quietly, deliberately, and with a sense of purpose we haven't seen in years. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In an explosive revelation, Barry Ferguson, the newly appointed interim head coach of Rangers, has cast doubt on the unity of his squad, claiming that two players are directly responsible for holding the team back. In a candid video that quickly went viral among fans and media alike, Ferguson didn't mince words, suggesting that their actions are causing significant disruption within the locker room. With Rangers facing a crucial stretch of fixtures, the timing of his statement raises questions about the atmosphere surrounding the team and what steps will be taken next. Ferguson, who has a long and storied history with the club, captaining Rangers to multiple league titles and cup wins, didn't hesitate to call out the players he believes are underperforming. He hinted that their poor attitude and lack of professionalism were affecting the overall morale of the squad. For a club with such high expectations, especially under Ferguson's leadership, this could become a make or break moment for the team as they look to reclaim their dominance in Scottish football. While Ferguson refrained from naming names, fans and pundits are already speculating about the identities of the culprits. Could it be underperforming stars who have been struggling with form? Or are there deeper issues within the squad such as player power struggles or dissatisfaction with tactical approaches? Whatever the case may be, Ferguson's statement adds a layer of intrigue and uncertainty to the already volatile atmosphere at Ibrox. The question now is how Ferguson will handle this delicate situation. As a former player with extensive experience at Rangers, he understands the pressures of the job, especially when dealing with egos in the locker room. With a challenging fixture list ahead, his ability to restore harmony and address these internal issues could be crucial to his future as the head coach, as well as the team's chances of success this season. As Rangers fans eagerly await further updates, one thing is clear: Barry Ferguson's words have set the stage for what could be a defining period in the club's season. The identity of the two players is still unknown, but the speculation is likely to fuel further drama and discussion in the coming days. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.